Hello everyone, this is Lolly. Welcome back. I decided it is time for me to finally do the video. You know what I mean, don't you? The one about Cricut versus Cameo. So I have been asked many times through the years about my opinion of the great Cricut versus Cameo showdown. The question I get is, which one should I buy? And the answer is just not that cut and dry and simple. I can't recommend you buy only Cricut or you buy only Cameo because it depends on your crafting style, your learning style, and what your needs are. So everything that I have to say is what is applicable at the time of this recording. Because everything changes, I already filmed this and I'm having to redo it already just one day later because of the new information that has come out. Also, everything that I had to say, it's my opinion. I will give some facts about pricing, etc. But again, that is appropriate only to right now in this time frame. Okay, so also a caveat, I am not a designer, a team member, I am not affiliated with either company as considered an employee or anyone that they even know. They don't even know me. Okay. So we are comparing apples to oranges because Cricut and Cameo machines are completely different. Now, Cricut is made by the Cricut company. Cameo is made by Silhouette America, but you may hear me refer to Cameo as the company when it's the machine. Okay, so let's get started. I have my little notes here and I have some screens and some slides to show you through this. The first thing that most people look at is price. How do they compare? And they would say, oh, well, I see that a Cameo 3 is this much money and a Cricut Explore Air 2 is this much money. One of them's cheaper, so I'm getting that one. And really, it's way more complicated than that. Please don't go making your decision totally based on the price of a machine. One of the things you need to consider is replacement parts. For instance, the blades and the mats, the consumables, the replaceables that you will be doing. And for instance, I have looked on their company websites. A Cricut mats are being sold 2 for $15.49 and Cameo mats 1 for $14.99. It's a considerable amount of difference there. But you need to consider as well, how long do they last? And I really can't give you an educated opinion on that because, again, it depends on your usage. I can't say that one mat lasts longer than the other, but that's definitely a factor that gets considered when we are trying to decide which machine to get. Another thing is, although this is the price on their websites, most people don't actually pay that amount because they will wait until Michael's or Hobby Lobby has a sale on, for instance, all Cricut accessories. Next is machine quality. This is a tough one. I don't ever want to appear to be bashing any particular company or brand. In my experience and from a lot of experience online, from what I've seen and what I have read and heard in other people saying, and these are reputable channels, etc., that the Cricut makes the best machines. They are just such quality. I know after using the Cameo, the first time I ever turned the maker on and just did a paper cut, I was blown away. I thought, wow, the quality of this machine is really impressive. Cameo machines are improving, but not the best at this point. I mean, they haven't had a history of being the best machine. Software, ooh. The software for the Cricut machine tends to be easier to learn, but this depends on your learning style. There is a higher learning curve with the Cameo software because there is more functionality to it. The more functions you have at your disposal, at your fingertips with a software, the more there is to learn. It just makes sense. If you have a software that all you have to do is click 1, 2, 3 print or 1, 2, 3 cut, you know, it's a lot easier to learn. So software for Cricut Design Space, it's not really good for a designer. If you ever want to design your own cut files, you really need to consider going to the Cameo. That's great for the designer. When I bought my Cameo, I was adamant that I am never going to be designing, and I'm designing now. I had no experience. So the software for the Cricut is very limited. When you are saving your file in Cricut, you have to save it as a web URL like www.da-da-da-da-da. Whereas with the Cameo, you save it as a real file, which also makes it where you can sell your images. You really can't sell a web URL very well. You can save your files that you create, not that you buy in Cameo, but that you create. You can sell those and you can save them as an SVG if you upgrade, or you can use some free online converter software that will enable you to convert and save to SVGs so they can be used in other machines. I do many people who design in Silhouette Design Studio and then save as SVG and use those files in their Cricut. The software also has a history of crashing and glitches on Cricut. This is definitely my experience. Sometimes I just have to walk away. I say, it is just not working today. And, I have had days where I would spend quite like an hour or so not designing, but editing something to get it to where it needed to be what I wanted. And then the whole thing just crashes and I've lost it all. I've always found the software for the Cameo has been very stable and hasn't been doing that. Expense of software. This is important. I don't know how this started or where this information is being shared. The software for both the Cricut and the Cameo is free. That, I want to say it again, the software is free. And so maybe I should put that right up here. It is free. Okay. I've had people tell me, well, I decided to go with the Cricut because I didn't want to pay for my software. The software for both is free. Okay, so I think I've made that point now. The basic software for Cameo is still more advanced and has more capabilities than the software for Cricut. So when you are comparing apples to apples, free software and free software, the Cameo software is still a level above the Cricut software in what it can do. So there is an option. You have the ability, if you so choose, to upgrade and pay for a higher level of software for your Cameo called the Designer and then Edition. And then there's another level above that called the Business Edition. Those are optional. You never have to pay for your software for your Cameo. So I just want to make that clear. Okay, so there are those two upgrades, and they do have many really cool features and I like them, but they're not necessary. Subscriptions. I have to get my notes out for this one. Both of them have subscriptions, and here's another example of when it's comparing apples to oranges. The Cricut has what they call Cricut Access, and that is $9.99 a month, or if you pay annually, meaning all at once, it works out to be $7.99 a month. What you are getting is access to all of their images, their cut files, which is over 10,000 of them. You have access to be able to use those. And there are other perks involved in that, such as 10% off your purchases on their website. That includes machines and materials. And you also have access to mystery boxes, which include the Cricut Cutie. If you're not familiar with the Cricut Cutie, I'm going to put a picture right up here. They are adorable. Now with the Silhouette Cameo, their subscription starts at $4.99 a month, and what that gives you is a $10 credit to spend buying your cut files in their shop, design shop. The average cut file is about $1. Okay, there are some that are more expensive because they are 3D boxes, etc. And there are fonts that you can get, and those are more expensive. Or you can buy the commercial use license to any of these files. And of course that would be more, but based on $1 cut file, that's about 50 cents an image. Or you can upgrade to the $9.99 a month, which gives you a $25 credit per month to spend. And that is about 40 cents a file. And these do roll over. You can, if you don't spend them, they roll over for about 90 days, I believe. $14.99 a month gives you a $50 credit. That's about 30 cents per file. $19.99 a month gives you $150 to spend, which is about 13 cents a file. This is where it really changes. And then at $29.99 a month, that comes out to you getting $250 to spend in the design shop. Again, it's just for images and digital properties, digital items. That's about 12 cents per dollar image. But the break off between the $19.99 and the $29.99, it's not enough of a benefit to justify going up that high. You really have to be making a lot of things at that rate. But once a year, they do have a sale on their subscriptions. So like when I started mine, I got in at $7.99 a month, and that gives me a $25 credit. So that's a really good deal. And then when it renews, it goes to $8.99. It's still cheaper than the $9.99 once you lock in at that. Okay, so that is their subscriptions. However, when you look at what you're getting with that subscription, this is really important. With the Access subscription, you gain access to the use of those files. With the Cameo, you are buying those files. So what happens if I have subscriptions to both and I cancel them both? I just canceled my Cricut Access. Now I no longer have access to those files. That's what it means. I don't have access, but I also do not own anything from that time period that I was paying the $10 a month. I don't have access or own any of the files from that time period. So all of that time that I was paying that, I don't have anything to show for it when I'm done. Okay. With the Cameo, I bought my files with the credit I was given. So at the end of, let's say I cancel my subscription, which I haven't, but at the end, I own everything I bought. I own every file, every font, and every file that I bought during my subscription. That's a big difference. You walk away with something. Customer support. The difference between the two companies, to me, is anecdotal. It's something that, there goes a period of time where everyone says Cameo support's the best. There comes a period of time where everyone says Cricut support is best. And I just see it doing this through the years. And really, it's all anecdotal and it's all stories. So I could have a bad experience with Cameo one day and a bad experience with Cameo support, of Cricut support the next day. I could have a good experience with one company one day and a good experience with another company another day. And that's what everyone's stories online, it's anecdotal, it's their experience. And so one person's experience does not mean that a company is routinely bad at customer support. So that's a really tough one to address. And I'm not going to really have anything to contribute to that because of it being so anecdotal. The company itself, Silhouette Cameo right now is a private company and has nothing in the works, to my knowledge, about going public, whereas Cricut has announced or stated or put in the works going public, which means they will be publicly traded on the stock market. When a company goes public, think of all your craft companies. Many companies are public, but think of creative industries. When a company goes public, they need to be concerned that they can make enough profit to impress their investors and get their investors some income and return on their investment. It tends to happen that the company, therefore, becomes more interested and more focused on making their investors happy than in taking care of their customers. We saw this with Etsy. I certainly did a video, more than one, about Etsy and how they have changed through the years since going public. Customers and especially sellers have said they don't care about us. This is our feeling, our opinion, that Etsy quit caring about the seller because it was all about the dollar, so we can give money to our investors. And so our rights just started dissipating. And so recently, I mean, right on the heels of saying they were going public and applying for going public, Cricut had made an announcement that from that point forward, we were only allowed to download into Cricut Design Studio 20 files from outside sources, meaning if you bought an SVG from me and you bought an SVG from another source and you got a design bundle of SVGs, you were only limited to put 20 of those into your design space per month, unless you had paid them $10 a month Cricut Access. This created a huge uproar. They backtracked after a couple days and said, well, we're listening to our customers. We are going to grandfather you in if you already have an account, you are attached to an existing machine, and therefore you will not have to have that limit of 20 files to upload a month unless you're a brand new customer after December 31st of 2021. I just now got an email this morning saying, forget it, we've changed our minds, we're never going to put a cap on how many files you can download into Cricut Design Space. But many felt that it was just an example of a company becoming tone deaf to the needs of the customers because they were going public. So although they backtracked, they changed their mind, they were listening to the customers, many people are happy that they've done so. I've seen much angst online through the years because people have felt whenever there's a new machine come out for Cricut, people say, but why isn't Cricut working to improve the software? They felt like Cricut wasn't listening to develop the software. Every company has a budget, and the customers wanted Cricut to budget more for design space development, and not as much on the machines. So just a thought. I have seen many comments. If you just read through comments on any post, a thread about the what was going on, about the limitation of how many files you could upload, many were saying, that's it, I am done. Even when Cricut backtrack, customers, I'm done, I'm selling my Cricut machine, I'm done with this. So there is, sometimes you can do too little too late, and many customers felt that was the situation in this. But how about innovation with these companies? I have always felt that Cricut is really top-notch when it comes to innovation with new gadgets, gizmos, all the cool toys for the crafting community, the machines, etc. What they come out with is exciting, whereas the Silhouette has been kind of sluggish in that area, but they do put all their eggs in one basket. They work on that software and they really have that down pat. But while Cricut was coming out with all sorts of they came out with the Maker, they came out with the Easy Press, they came out with the Bright Pad, all in a relative short period of time, which was so impressive. So I looked over at Silhouette's announcements about what they were coming out with, and I saw they came out with temporary tattoo paper. I don't even know how to comment on that. I remember thinking, seriously, is that what you're bringing to the table, is tattoo paper? I thought that was a non-event. So you could see a huge difference in the innovation. Now, to be fair, I believe that Silhouette was working at that time feverishly on coming out with their upcoming Cameo 4. So whatever machine you choose, it is totally up to you. I am not rooting for one over the other. I'm telling you my opinions and what I've experienced in the creative community, what I've seen as far as how the companies are performing and what's available to you. I do want to say, whatever you purchase, whatever you pick, please get it out of the box and use it right away. Don't be afraid. Don't let the fear of failure stop you from playing right away. Get on those YouTube videos. I have a series of YouTube videos for Cameo use. Lori Noonemaker has a lot of free Cricut tutorials. You do not have to pay for tutorials on using your machine. I really want to stress that there are many who are selling tutorials on how to use your machine. It's not necessary. All the free content is out there. Go to a creator on YouTube, look at their playlist on their channel, and you will see where they have all the Cricut videos, for instance. Very good. And it's right there at your fingertips. The reason I want you to start exploring with your machine right away is that your warranty expires a year after you bought the machine, not a year after you open the box. So I have had many people comment to me that they didn't even open their Cameo or their Cricut for a year after purchase because they were afraid of it. I mean, it was just like this scary thing in the box sitting in the corner mocking them, making them feel like a failure before they even started. So they waited a year. If you are one of those and you open the box and you go to use it and it's dead in the water, it's a factory reject kind of situation where it's just a lemon and it's not working, the warranty is already expired. And then what? You've invested the money and now you have a nice huge paperweight and dust collector that just sits on your table. So please, please get your machine out of the box, play with it, make sure it works. Use those tutorials, at least cut one basic image to get your feet wet in this wonderful market. Now, I have no experience with Brother Scan and Cut, just saying, but when I went to Creativation, the Brother Scan and Cut demos blew me out of the water. Wow, they were awesome. Would I love to get my hands on one? You bet. But since I already have 3 cutting machines, I can't justify purchasing a Brother Scan and Cut. If you are wanting to know a comparison between the Brother Scan and Cut and Cricut and the Cameo, I would again go to Lori Nunemaker. She's got experience with all 3 and really understands them all well and has owned all 3. I got the Cameo too, and as soon as I ordered it, Silhouette announced that they were coming out with Cameo 3, and I thought, should I cancel my order? But I didn't, and I'm glad I did not, because as soon as all of the people who had experience with Cameo, whom I looked up to for advice and help, when they got their Cameo 3s, they sent them back and said, don't waste your time. Stick with the Cameo 2. So there were a lot of glitchy problems. And I've had several people reach out to me. Oh, I'm having all this problem with my Cameo. Why is it doing this X, Y, and Z? And I'd say, you have a Cameo 3, don't you? And they would say yes. So it was kind of known as the lesser of the Cameos. And so then the Cameo 4 has come out. I have not purchased it because I have a Cameo and I have a Cricut Maker that I won and I have a Cricut Joy that I purchased. So I have 3 machines, 2 Cricuts and 1 Cameo. I do know that I need to get that Cameo 4 eventually because I need to learn that and be able to teach you and to work with you and your needs on using that machine. So it's in the forefront of my thinking that I need to get that. But I would still love to get that Brother Scan and Cut. I mean, who wouldn't want one, right? Well, thank you for watching. I hope this really helped you and gave you some things to think about and really helped you to see it's not comparing apples to oranges. You need to look at every little category I've mentioned and the little tick marks I've put in every little box and decide what is the best for you because you're the one going to use it. And there are great Facebook groups on either side for support for all of those. And I'm also on MeWe, and I have a support group for Cameo beginners there as well. So thank you for watching, everyone. You have a great crafty day.